Fitzpatrick takes the snap, drops back, lobs it back right corner. Decker! He's got it! Touchdown! Eric Decker scores! And the Jets have won it in overtime!
This is the Jet Take with Ben Blessington and Kyle Fahey.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another installment of the Jet Take. I am your host for tonight, Kyle Fahey, and man, it has been a barren offseason for the Jets in inception to the draft, but nonetheless, we have some content to put out for you guys. And per as usual, I could say, we are joined, if you are the listeners, by the one and only All-Pro producer. That's what we're going with officially, Gangrene David. David, thanks for coming on, man. What's going on? No. See, this is where we go wrong. We're already starting on a bad foot, David.
All right.
For all those out, before you do your intro, David, for all those out there and who don't know already, David controls the sound bites. So that's not a genuine applaud right there. That's like Trump paying people to applaud for him, right? That's what David's doing right now. But continue on, David.
Oh my God, Kyle, you were just something tonight, man. But tonight we got a lot to talk about, and I'm really looking forward to this. We're getting closer to the off season, and
we're in the full swing of it.
Off season, I meant the regular season, the first season with a rebuilt team. See how it goes, and I'm ready to just talk some football tonight. Let's go Jets.
I think you could say that like every 5 years, though. Like first season with a rebuilt team. The new GM, he's great, man, and the coach has got a lot of potential. But before we get into all that, all the slander, all the zombie talk, as we like to call it, for the Todd Bowles, let's do some shady promoting of our lacking Twitter and Instagram. Still not verified. Twitter, we are beefing, to clarify. Just want to put that out there for the loyal listeners. Just tag the verification account on Twitter. They have one. I think it's at like Twitter Verify or something. Get the Jet Take verified. I've tried, and I've tried again. They won't verify us. They say something about us being like not legitimate. I don't know what that's all about. I think we're pretty legitimate, right, David?
Yeah, I would actually say we are legitimate.
This is a 5-second wait for a legitimate. He had to think about it. It's not like we, pay for our listeners or anything. It's nothing like that. We do. All right, but go ahead and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, at the Jet Take. Of course, you can find the podcast on iTunes, iHeartRadio, not on Spotify. I wish we were. We're not on Spotify. We're working on that. And just any other podcatcher you can think of, you can find us on there. And, an update for the show before we get into the topics. I know I keep delaying. Ben Blessington, our esteemed host, I've obviously been taking over the past couple weeks, as I yawn. He has been unable to do the show the last couple nights because he's doing bigger things in life. He's calling some lacrosse games, some playoff lacrosse games. So he will be back next week. We are going to do the show on either Thursday or Friday, to be determined. But we're on right now, so that's what matters. David, let's jump into it. Not a lot of headlines. In fact, almost no headlines except Christian Hackenberg saying all the right things. I don't have the exact quote in front of me because that's the caliber of a host I am. David, your thoughts on Christian Hackenberg's comments about him being more confident coming into his second season than he was last year?
Well, that's actually, in my opinion, that's actually good coming from the kid, because if there's one thing that...
We can't call them kids. Remember that. They're older than us. Yeah.
Well, and if we're talking football, I technically can't. But if there's one thing you need to have when you're going on that football field and performing, it's called confidence. And honestly, Christian Hackenberg is pretty much just saying that he has confidence, and that's good. But however, can he actually prove it? Because actions speak louder than words. And we want to see what this kid can really do in the regular season. We saw Taysom in the preseason. Not really what we were expecting out of him, especially for a second-round pick, which shocked many Jet fans. But, right now the kid is trying to be confident, and if he can prove his point, then I'll actually take his word for it.
Yeah, David, I think that was great. I'm actually quoting it currently. I completely agree with you. This is one of the rare times that I do. He's saying all the right things. There's nothing to complain about, but I want him to step onto the field and prove it to me and prove it to the fan base. Obviously I think I'm definitely his biggest critic. I think I can give myself that award, right, David?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you should. We're gonna have to crop in the soundbite from when we drafted him, when we were doing that live broadcast. We had to edit it a little bit because of FCC rules, but that's in the past. We're here now. So if he can come out and prove that this confidence trumps the lack of talent from him, that'd be great. I'd love to have a franchise quarterback sometime soon, and I do hope that Christian Hackenberg is it. But as of right now, they are just words. They are not the truth. They are not set in stone. This is not the 11th commandment. Confidence does not trump accuracy, mobility, and being able to read a defense. So I just want to put that out there for the people who think it can. Any other comments on that, David?
All I gotta say is that this kid is actually going to be the likely starter for the Jets because you have one quarterback recovering from a torn labrum, although now he's saying he's good to go. And then you have the 38-year-old vet in Josh McCown. Even though our quarterback core is pretty much depleted, I think Christian Hackenberg will be the only one that will probably be healthy. So you want to have a healthy, competent quarterback going out there and playing for your team.
Spin zone. First spin zone of the night. I think we'll have to start doing a counter on Twitter or something. Spin zone of the night. David says that this is not a complete competition because the other quarterbacks aren't healthy enough, and that Hackenberg is basically given the job. Is that a fair spin zone?
No, that's not what I'm not saying that he's automatically
getting
the job.
No, you can't deny the spin zone. You can't deny the spin zone. All right, let's go into our first call of the night. We already got a crowded line, and that is one of our favorite callers. Definitely one of our favorite callers. He's a man of few words, but he definitely knows his stuff. Tyler, you haven't called in a while, man. Thanks for calling on. To clarify, I'm not Ben. I'm better looking. I'm better sounding. I don't care what he says about my voice. What's going on, man?
How you doing, Kyle?
No. You can't hit me with a Justin Bieber song.
Please.
Yeah. Nobody likes you, David. Tyler, what's going on?
Not much.
Well, we said he was a man of few words. We haven't had you on in a while, as we already said. I definitely don't think we got to talk to you about the draft. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are your thoughts about the draft? Let's start with the first round selection, number 6 overall, Jamal Adams. What are your thoughts on that pick?
A beast pick.
Like that. All right. I know you're a big Madden guy. What would his overall be coming into his rookie year?
Coming from his rookie year?
Yeah, going into right now his current state. If Madden 18, it's coming out in like a month or two. What do you think?
I'm not getting it. I'm not. First of all, I'm not getting it because Brady's on it.
Oh.
Second of all,
that's another spin zone I got for you guys, but we'll do it after you're done talking.
Jamal Adams, his overall rating.
Yes. Go ahead and give it.
I'll say like a 79 or an 80.
Oh, yikes.
79 or an 80, really?
Yeah. To put that in perspective, folks, Jared Goff had a 79 last year, and we all know who Jared Goff is, a nobody and a terrible player. So we'll bump that up to an 89 for the record books. But what are your thoughts about some of the later round picks, like Elijah McGuire?
Elijah McGuire, running back depth. I like that pick.
Do you think he could offer us more on special teams than he can on offense, to say? I mean, based off his speed and his footwork, and even being a fairly good pass-catching running back, that could all equate to being a good returner. And based on some of the clips we've seen from inside the Jets' rookie training camp, the Jets have had him back there fielding some punts and kicks. So do you think he comes in and makes an immediate impact at the returner position?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, let's talk about some of the more recent stuff. I don't know if you saw it. This is going to be one of our main topics tonight. But Pro Football Focus released a little graphic today about Quincy Enunwa. Are you familiar with it? Did you get to see it on your timeline?
No, I haven't.
All right, so basically it said that Quincy Enunwa was the best, how do I phrase this? Being a deep threat receiver, he was the best pass-catching deep threat receiver. It was like 80% of the time he was catching it. I believe that was a stat. David, go look that up. It's definitely on my Twitter because I retweeted it. But, you know, a lot of fans, they think of Quincy Enunwa as a Brandon Marshall type, kind of like a big body who can catch the ball. They don't really think of him as a deep threat. Does this stat possibly put some light into your thought on Quincy Enunwa, or do you think we should still keep using him as a big body?
Okay, so we got Decker, Enunwa.
Currently.
Who else? Who else?
Robbie Anderson, if he doesn't get suspended for the first couple games, which I don't think he will, because it seems like that has really died down. We actually have like
Robbie
12
Anderson, Tyrone Peak, others.
Darius Stewart.
Yep, Chad Hansen.
Darius Stewart, Chad Hansen, Enunwa? What was that about? What was that about Enunwa?
That when it comes to deep threat wide receivers, he catches the ball 80% of the time, which is best in the league.
He catches the lead.
So my question to you is, do you think we should start using him more as a deep threat, or continue using him as like a big body, to say?
Depends on what he does. I'm not sure.
Okay, that's fair. What are your thoughts on Christian Hackenberg's comments over the past couple days? I don't know exactly when it came out, but...
Well, give the kid a chance. Let him start.
Okay, I think that's fair enough. All right, I found the official thing from Pro Football Focus right now. The topic is top deep ball catch rate percentage among qualifying receivers. Quincy Enunwa had an 80% deep ball catch rate, which was best in the league, with a minimum of 10 deep targets. He was in front of guys like Robert Woods, Michael Thomas, and Amari Cooper. So definitely Quincy Enunwa is starting to emerge as a very good receiver in the NFL. All right, Tyler, that's basically it for tonight. Thank you so much for coming on. Go ahead and give us all your information.
You can follow me at TJInc896 on Twitter and TMJ1996 on Instagram. I'll see if I can come on next week. If not, I'll keep in touch.
All right, man. Thank you so much for being on.
All right.
All right. Once again, that was Tyler. As David was furiously giving him a shout-out on Twitter. We heard it in the background. See, that's how good David is. You know, you might not hear him 24/7, but David's working behind the scenes. He's doing his job. And all right, now Tyler's muted. As we said, not a man of a lot of words, but when he does speak, he's got some fire takes. David, any thoughts on, or seeing as we didn't get to hear from you, any thoughts on, you know, any topics we touched on there?
Well, I actually wanted to talk about the Quincy Enunwa thing. I mean, last season, I actually did see a lot of good stuff from Quincy Enunwa, especially the deep threat, especially the deep balls he caught, because that's something he was actually really trying to emerge from. Also, you saw Quincy Enunwa was actually really good with yards after catch, but you know, I definitely want to see him play a lot more snaps this year, because I think the amount of snaps he played was what really actually put him on that 80% deep pass catch rate. And, you know, I would definitely possibly see him as a number one, although my take still stands on the fact that he still has his raw route running ability. But that's something he could definitely work on when it comes to OTAs, when it comes to mini camp, even when it comes to training camp. That's something he could definitely work on. Otherwise, I could definitely see him as a number one receiver, possibly this year, and then Decker playing in his number two spot. And actually, that is another thing I wanted to touch on, Eric Decker, because we haven't really talked about him in a while. You know, this guy, you know, we were all heartbroken that he was actually going to be gone, but
well,
you know, he had the two he was gone, and that
I'm
going to
miss his wife more than I'm going to miss him, if I'm honest.
All right, Kyle. Okay, Kyle, don't get off topic here. But, going on the football side of Eric Decker, Kyle, you can
David's
talk about his
reeling
hot
me
wife
in.
later. Kyle, you can talk about his hot wife later. But anyway, going on the football side of Eric Decker, Eric Decker really wanted to get back on that football field, saying now that he's already completely healthy and he's ready to go even before, OTAs or mini camps. And, I'm actually going to like what this guy's going to do. I mean, people are saying he's not going to be the same because of the injury, but, I definitely want to see him go out there and provide the veteran leadership to this new young receiving core. Will we see the same Decker we saw from 2015? Possibly not, because I think that injury might affect him a little bit. But I'm definitely excited for him to come back and really make a statement.
Yeah, and based on what we've been seeing and based on what John Morton likes to do with his offense, this is what I'm feeling he's going to do with the wide receivers. I think we're going to go ahead with Quincy at number 1. I think we're going to try him there, at least for the couple weeks, see how it works out. It might even get shot down in training camp. I don't know. And then we'll put Robbie on the opposite side, have him be like the number 2 technically, just based on how he's lined up. And then have Decker be the slot. I don't know if you want to consider him number 2 or what you want to do. But I think
I would probably consider Decker and Anderson switching. That's pretty much what he's meant for. He's pretty much meant for number 2 in the slot. We saw that in 2015, and we saw that in his last year game too as well.
Yeah, I mean, he only played a couple games last year, but in that Buffalo game where he got hurt in the Buffalo game, correct me if I'm wrong, right?
No, I think it was the Chief game. I think he left early.
He got hurt in the Buffalo game, but then he tried playing a couple snaps, and that's right.
Yeah.
He played slot in almost all those snaps, and he did fairly well. He was catching balls, doing what Decker does. One of the best route runners in the league, even at his age. You're right. We don't know if he'll be the same after the surgeries. I like Decker, though. I always have, obviously, for multiple reasons. But I think if we put Quincy at 1, and you put Robbie at that deep ball guy or burner or quick slant, any way to utilize his speed and get the yak yards, the yards after catch, and then put Decker in the middle of the field, it's going to be hard to cover people. And then Bilal Powell coming out of the backfield, he's obviously a very good pass catcher, and he's been doing some good things running the ball as well. We have a decent O-line. Really, if Christian Hackenberg even plays at a top 20 QB level, I think the Jets will definitely get over 7 wins. Is that a fair statement in your mind?
Well, let's assume Christian Hackenberg would actually play fairly well. And remember, this would be...
That's what I said.
Well, yeah, but if you think about it, this would be the kid's first season as a real starting NFL quarterback. The kid was redshirted last year and did nothing. I can't say that he'll be a top 20 quarterback, but, going back to his receiving contribution...
It's not that hard, honestly.
Well, yeah, knowing the quarterbacks nowadays, I can't say top 10. But going back to the receiving contribution, looking at Decker, Enunwa, Robbie Anderson, Quincy Enunwa, I would probably try him at number 1, although I still don't think he's ready. I think it would be a good idea to give him the taste of being the number 1 receiver. Maybe because he actually had a lot of great matchups against certain Pro Bowl corners, meaning like Stephon Gilmore, Malcolm Butler, lots of these corners, and he's actually made some good plays against them. But that doesn't consider him one of the best in the league. I can't consider him as a true number 1 yet until he actually proves my point. Like I said, actions can speak louder than stats or words. Quincy Enunwa is going to have to prove that he's a good number 1 receiver. Now, even going to Decker and Anderson, you're right about one thing. Decker is actually really beneficial in the middle of the field, especially when it comes to third down conversions. Not to mention he's also a red zone threat, even in the slot. And Robbie Anderson, he's also tried to emerge. He's tried to use his speed very well. He's built like a versatile receiver, and he's built like someone who could just sprint away, catch the ball, and run. And you could have defensive backs not get him at all.
Yeah, so the Jets definitely have weapons to work with. And I agree with you on most of that. I think Quincy does have to prove himself. I think Hackenberg has to prove himself. But right now I'm just pulling up a list of the quarterbacks ranked in the NFL. And this is from NFL.com, and here it is. No, this is old. Never mind. This is old. We'll lose that topic for right now. I said I was going to have another spin zone for you, so here it is. Tyler said that he's not going to get the new Madden, and I'm assuming it was because of Tom Brady being on it. I feel like that's the correct assumption, right?
Well, I mean, hey, listen. You ever heard of the Madden curse?
Yeah.
Well, no, maybe Brady might get affected by it.
Well, here's my spin zone. Ready?
Yeah.
Brady did this to help Bill Belichick. I believe Jimmy Garoppolo is a free agent next year, or they will definitely have to make some sort of major decision on him. They might have to pick up an option or something like that. I know for a fact they have to make a decision on him next year. So to help out Belichick, Brady is going on the Madden cover to purposely have the Madden curse affect him. And the Patriots will move on to Jimmy Garoppolo. And Tom Brady will retire. If you have noticed, Tom Brady, over the last 2 or 3 years, has been doing hundreds of commercials. I mean, they're all over the place. The UGG boots, now obviously the Madden deal. I mean, he's got a lot of things going on. There are other things I'm not even talking about. I'm pretty sure he does a thing for Rolex. I mean, he's doing a lot of things. So I'm just saying, spin zone, Patriots are pulling a fast one on us. Tom Brady probably gets paid like $10 million for the Madden cover, and the Patriots get to go on with Jimmy Garoppolo without having to force Brady out. I feel like that's how it's going to go down. All right, enough of my crazy topics, too much cocaine. We're going to go on to our next caller of the night, and that is the one and only CJ. CJ, thanks for coming on, man. You haven't called in a long time, probably since close to the beginning of the show. What's going on, man?
Not much. Just, taking some time off to spend some time with the family on this off season. Obviously, after the total abysmal, the total abysmal record from last year, and just the way the season ended, and just so much turmoil that's been going on. It was nice to take a little bit of time, step away, kind of reset, regroup, and, we're back in the game. Jet Factor Podcast has been putting out some sporadic content here and there. My partner in crime currently entered witness protection. No, I'm just kidding. He just decided to reset himself soon.
I'm pretty sure we shouldn't say that. Self-respect.
So, we're maintaining, we're doing our thing. Just getting excited, trying to regroup from the draft, make a semblance of some of these picks. I'm actually pretty happy with quite a few of these picks that the Jets picked up in the draft. So I got to say, Jamal Adams, he definitely wasn't my number one, but he was definitely my top 3. Very happy about that because the Jets needed a safety. So that immediately put Calvin Pryor on notice and immediately made Marcus Gilchrist expendable. Because of his injury last year. Marcus May, the safety out of Florida, this kid is going to be a beast. Yep. Let me tell you.
Don't tell Carl Smith that. He'll freak out.
So, my wife and a couple of ladies that I work with up in Rockledge, Florida over here, they are diehard.
You live in Rockledge?
Yes,
I do.
Or
buy it? I don't want to.
Well, actually, I live in Palm Bay, but I work in Rockledge, so.
Ah, that's fairly close to me.
Yeah. So you're over in Brevard County too?
No, you're like 50 minutes depending on traffic. I mean, it's not too bad. I go up there all the time.
Well, if you ever find your way in Brevard County, we got to link up for a drink. So, Dad, the invitation's been thrown down.
All right. It's going to have to be a virgin pina colada for me legally. But, yeah,
that's
definitely.
Fine. No worries. No worries about that. But, I got to say one thing, getting back to Jamal Adams and Marcus May, that immediately makes Calvin Pryor expendable. And I have to say one thing, Calvin Pryor, he was already put on notice with the acquisition of Jamal Adams, but now with Marcus May, this kid, with the two of them together, you definitely start to get the refreshing change that we've been requiring, or that we've all been longing for here in the within the Jets organization. one name that I want to bring up, which was actually our third-round pick, this Ardarius Stewart. I actually got into a fight with a guy on Twitter because...
Really? A fight on Twitter?
Yeah, actually got into a fight on Twitter. And essentially, about this kid, there's this one guy who actually blew up the Jets timeline saying that this kid's going to be the team's number one, that Quincy Enunwa and Robbie Anderson are trash, that he didn't understand why we didn't trade them. I mean, I literally...
That was good timing. That was good timing, David.
I literally lost it and, just blasted this kid with both barrels, and he was just continually going back and forth, and all he kept saying was, watch the tape, watch the tape, watch the tape. This kid's got better hands.
I always love that.
Better hands than Robbie Anderson, blah, 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 blah.
Well,
so,
that's not wrong.
You know what? I went ahead and I actually watched the kid, but I watched the tape on this kid. And I'm impressed by some things, but do I think that he's going to be the New York Jets number one? Absolutely not. No way, shape, or form. This guy is a loser. You're being called out. I'm not going to say your Twitter handle just for the fact that all Jets Nation will probably just kill you. Well, I was actually trying to find it on my timeline, but when I do find it, I'm going to retweet it. So my Twitter handle is JetsFan0523. So I definitely will try and get this guy's handle out there so all of you Jets Nation can have at him for such preposterous and blasphemous comments.
Blasphemous. I love that term. David, before you hop in, just want to let you know, it's good for ratings if he says that name, because then that kid, once we tag him in it, he sees that he gets called out, he's going to want to go listen to it, and then he might retweet it saying, oh, this dude doesn't know what he's talking. It creates more listeners. You got to be on top of that, David. Come on. Come on. All pro producer. You got to live up to it. All right, David, go ahead and...
Oh, my God, Kyle.
Go ahead and jump in.
No, but CJ, I have a feeling like this kid does not know what he's talking about. But
hurtful.
Yeah, well, I did watch I also watched some film review on this kid, Ardarius Stewart, and I could potentially see him maybe possibly going into the slot here and there, or maybe being our fourth string receiver, because he's a third-round pick. You gotta admit, and there's actually quite some things that I actually like about this kid. Because first of all, he came out of a great college football program known as Alabama.
For football only.
For football only. I mean, Alabama's a great school, and I also think he's very athletic. I also think he's very speedy, and he's great with yards after catch, and that's actually an attribute that Quincy Enunwa has in my mind. And he's actually also great when it comes to the end-around play, and you could actually put him in that position as well. But I actually want to get your take on the quarterback, CJ. What are your thoughts on Christian Hackenberg possibly starting this year? Do you think the actions can speak louder than words? Do you think he can actually prove everybody wrong?
Well, I'd like to think so, because you know what? We invested a second-round pick in this kid, and they essentially redshirted him his first year. And, for all the talk, for all the aggravation and the angst, bringing Ryan Fitztragic back and the atrocity that was, having Bryce Petty just get out there and just essentially just get a torn labrum over a patchwork offensive line that couldn't stop a beach ball. So, it just, to me, the one thing that I want to see out of Christian Hackenberg, and I fight with Jets fans all the time about this, and it's not that I'm trying to be a jerk. I'm trying to just state the obvious, which I think that a lot of people seem to miss, and it's this. Everybody is so quick to run out there and just go grab this guy, go grab that guy, get rid of this guy, get rid of that guy. What they don't understand is that you need to have players to replace these people that you want to get rid of. Now, originally, truth be told, I'm going to go on record because it's already out there on Twitter.
Yeah, you're on record. We're recording.
When Carlos and I first started after the offseason, when we were talking about the both of us took a look at Deshaun Watson, and we were like, you know what? We would love to see him in green and white. Oh. But then we started taking a look at the entire overall quarterback class. And to be truthful, aside from Deshaun Watson, we really weren't that impressed. I mean, Mitchell Trubisky, showed flashes. Kid doesn't have enough game time to, I think, personally, he's 3-4 years from being an NFL quarterback. Now, Deshaun Kaiser, bad mechanics.
Agreed.
But I like the kid's heart. I like the kid's fight. You know, he doesn't give up. He sometimes makes the bad throw because he's trying to make a play. The best thing that I could say is I commend him for his heart, but he's got to develop some common sense as well. You know, there's, they should put the Kenny Rogers song "Know When to Fold Up," on repeat for him when he's over there in training camp. So, understand when it's time to be a gunslinger and when it's time to just duck and run or just to throw it into the stands. And I still think the kid can develop into something. Now, Watson, I felt personally was probably one of the better quarterbacks coming out of this draft. But there was also another part of me that was saying when Geno Smith was on the roster, look, just see what the hell that you have in-house. Play these kids, call the season a mulligan, and just see what they can do. There were rumors about Hackenberg that this kid couldn't hit a barn. There were rumors that he couldn't hit the ocean. That Bryce Petty's arm, that he had difficulty reading defenses. A lot of these are all rumors, and a lot of these are all speculation. And as far as I'm concerned, I want to see game film. I want to see them and how they perform under live bullets, because that's only the way that we are going to see what these kids are made of. Run them out there. Try to put as best an offensive line that you can put together out there in front of them to protect them. Give them some weapons to work with and see what they can do. Now, that being said, Christian Hackenberg, for this quarterback competition coming up in training camp, will have every single opportunity to win that starting job. And you want to know something? If he comes out there and he plays lights out and he's being a good game manager and he's not turning the ball over or making sloppy decisions with the ball, he's out there letting it fly and he's hitting the marker, that's great. Then put him out there. But if we really start the season week 1 with Josh McCown, or should I say Trash McCown, as our starting quarterback for the 2017-2018 season, all of Jets Nation needs to go out to their local liquor store, get a case of Jack Daniels, go get yourself some IV tubing and a spike set, because pretty much we're going to be mainlining whiskey for the entire freaking season. Now, on a positive note, because I'm one of those guys that try to look at things as glass half full, we're going to have a lot of young and hungry and raw kids out there that want to win and that are going to play their asses off for Jets Nation. And that, to me, if this team ends up going 2-14 or 1-15 or 3-13 or whatever, just to know that these players are out there playing their asses off because they want to win and they want to go out there and compete at the highest level and not quit like the atrocity that I had to sit through on Monday Night Football when we got our asses handed to us 41-10 by the Colts, and then the following week get our asses handed to us by the Patriots, and then have Todd Bowles come up there and give me excuse after excuse after excuse and give me the zombie stare. I forgot to eat 7 brain today. Only because the defense is absolute trash and Revis is trash and he doesn't have the guts to bench him. Okay, you got poor Justin Burris out there trying to cover 5 because the person on the other end over there, Marcus Williams, forgot his position in coverage. You got Calvin Pryor looking around like, where's Waldo? Like, what do I do now? Calamity of errors. And it got to the point where it became so painful to watch that I would much rather have thrown a rock on my television, and I much rather would have watched Lifetime movies or Hallmark movies.
Oh my God!
Don't get down on Hallmark.
And to watch the Jets play. It was that painful. Now, this year,
you're cutting this part out. We're posting this separately. This is too great.
Now, this part, okay, for this year coming up, because of the fact of the youth infusion, one of the campaigns that I started last year that I kept saying on my show, I said it on Tyson and Joe's show, Let's Talk Jets. I said the motto is old and slow must go.
Oh.
That's what it
We're
is.
Taking
old
that.
and slow must go.
We're taking that.
I'm going to quote it right now.
Yeah, we're taking that.
So, at this point, it was time. It's been 2 years overdue for this roster to be completely gutted, and I mean gutted down to the foundation, and rebuild it brick by brick with guys that want to be here and guys that want to compete. And this is exactly what Maccagnan is doing. Now, you want to know something? I'll be the first one to say I bashed Todd Bowles left, right, up, down, sideways, in and out, upside down, as 7 ways to Sunday. The same thing with Mike Maccagnan, with the fact that his first year as GM, he was Executive of the Year, and then last year he's ducking questions and answering questions cryptically like he's the smartest man in the room and nobody else has a clue. But yet we still haven't seen Christian Hackenberg take the field. You got Sheldon Richardson and Brandon Marshall mouthing off to one another about, why can't the offense stay on the field? Well, why can't the defense do what they got to do? And that's the reason for the locker room discord. But besides, the two of them were schmucks anyway, so what the hell's the difference?
Locker room talk. Locker room talk. That's what we can use now.
So I mean, essentially, this is the culture that needed to change. Because now I've been a Jet fan since '78. Okay, one of my favorite players.
Longer than I've been alive. Just letting people know.
That's longer
I'm
than we've been both alive, Kyle.
So I'm actually dating myself here, gentlemen. So one of my favorite players growing up, Bobby Jackson, cornerback who was drafted out of FSU. He's actually been on my show, and I love talking to him about how times were then when the NFL, the way the NFL was in the 70s and the 80s. And he had some very interesting stories to share, like the fact that Wesley Walker was legally blind in one eye. He was still one of the Jets' greatest receivers that they ever had, right up there with Al Toon. Okay? How many fans cried when Ken O'Brien was drafted ahead of Dan Marino? And I mean, the list of calamities go on and on and on and on. All right? So, but, to see them now finally take positive strides forward, where your owner, Woody Johnson, you applaud him because he's not making panic moves to sell PSLs. He's actually on board and embracing this process like, you know what? It's time to rebuild this team. The fans deserve a competitive product. We're going to give them a competitive product. I trust in the process. So you know what? I'm trying to buy into it. I really am. The big test is going to see at the end of this upcoming season whether the Jets have truly taken a step forward, personnel-wise. Are we going to see guys are we going to see rising stars that were brought on to either walk-ons, whether undrafted free agents, our draft picks step up and ball out. It's going to be very interesting to see. So I'm encouraged. I'm excited for this upcoming season. But I hear some people talking about this team is going 10-6 and 11-5. Listen, whatever weed you're smoking, send it right on down here to Palm Bay, Florida.
Whoa!
Okay? Because there is no way this team is going 10-6, 11-5. No way. No way. Not in a rebuilding year. In a rebuilding year, you want to make sure that your skill position players are performing at peak efficiency. You want to make sure that your offensive line is holding up, which they've made some decent moves on the offensive line, but I still want to see more. We still didn't get a pass rusher, which we should have gotten in this draft, okay, which means that they're putting a lot of stock in Lorenzo Malden and Darren Lee to step up and to be pass rushers. They're putting a lot of stock that Sheldon Richardson is going to somehow find a way to pull his head out of his ass and actually play like the Sheldon Richardson that did in his rookie year. Okay, we're also putting a lot of stock that Muhammad Wilkerson is going to actually live up to that contract that he paid, that we broke the bank to pay him. So the defense is going to be somewhat suspect, but you know what? There's a lot of players on this team that have to prove themselves. Now, everyone criticized the Jets about taking 2 straight safeties. I've already blown that argument out of the water. Yep. Here's the argument here for the 2 straight wide receivers in the 3rd and 4th round. And the reason being because you need speed on special teams. These guys may end up making the team as receivers, but our special teams was it was so painful to watch that I would much rather watch paint dry on the wall than our special teams.
I think it was 28th in the league, and that was an improvement over the year before.
Right. So, and see, here's the thing. When we're driving down the field on offense, or when we get stopped on a 3-and-out, our special teams is supposed to be able to pin the opposing team inside their 20. Not let them give them a free pass to the 50, or not just miss tackles altogether and just let guys run end to end. Okay, and plus on top of it, we've had to rely on special teams. Over the past 2 years, you realize special teams has been where the bulk of the Jets' offense have come from? Do you know how ridiculous that is? So you mean to tell me we're having that hard of a time finding the end zone because we're settling for 3s instead of 7s? But that I could put in the lap of Todd Bowles, because then I could look at Zombie and I could say, look, you need to make smarter decisions with your offense. But I'm also very encouraged by John Morton and the offense that he's going to be running out there, because supposedly, from what I understand, it's going to be very, very high-powered. Okay, it's going to be high-octane, up-tempo. Guys are going to be running around with misdirection. Good. Because you know what? We're the New York Jets, and I want MetLife Stadium, whether it's this year, whether it's next year, to be a place of fear for the rest of the NFL. You understand? That if Tom Brady is playing next year, I want him to shit his drawers when he comes in to MetLife Stadium, because he knows that once he takes that field, he is going to get his ass beaten from the first whistle to the end. That's what I want. Okay?
I love this.
I want every team, when they circle the New York Jets on that calendar, for them to say 2 words. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay? Because when they come into the Meadowlands, when they need to be like they just saw Freddy Krueger, Michael Myers, and freaking
and
Jason,
Nancy Pelosi,
all in one shot.
Yeah.
And then as they're walking out the door, we'll have Donald Trump and Nancy Pelosi give them a kick in the ass out the door.
Yeah, love it.
Okay, that's what I
This
want
is
as a
great.
Jets fan. Do you know why? Because we need this as a fan base. Not only do we need this as a fan base, but it's also time for us to start realizing that the old days are over. These are not the same old Jets anymore. That's what they need to understand. Because right now the rest of the league looks at the fan base, looks at the franchise, and we're just a bunch of jokes. Why are we a bunch of jokes? Because we go out there and we play like a bunch of jokes. On national television, on Monday Night Football, on Sunday Night Football, when we're getting embarrassed by 25 points and 38 points, and Todd Bowles just comes out and says, we got our ass kicked.
Yeah. I think we're going to leave it at that. I think we're David.
Wow.
Slow clap. Play the soundbite.
I'll just. This is like the 500th time I've played this, but
It doesn't matter, David.
it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, that CJ, you're the man. Honestly, yeah, you are the man. Not only just providing that amazing insight, but trying to pump us up for what is supposed to be a
I want to fight
rebuilding
somebody
year.
right now. I want to fight somebody.
Yeah, so
I'm ready to go.
You know what, CJ, you're 100% right. You know what? Why don't these teams come into MetLife Stadium, and we'll actually try to run them out? You know, I was just as optimistic as last year, and now I'm slowly gaining it back because of you. So, CJ, thank you very much, man. That was actually very impressive.
That was great. All right, CJ. As great as that was, unfortunately, it did take up a lot of time, and we are going to have to let you go because we do have a couple callers on the line. Why don't you go ahead and give us all your social medias, your Twitter, so people can follow you and your fire takes, because tonight was just absolutely phenomenal. I don't think I could have phrased it any better myself.
All righty. Well, first off, thanks again for having me on tonight. And you guys can follow the Jet Factor podcast on SoundCloud.com. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play. Or you can follow the show on Twitter at CNC Jets Factor. My partner in crime, CS Sardinas, on Twitter. You can follow me at JetsFan0523. Shoot the show an email, thejetsfactor@gmail.com. We are out there. We love taking listener feedback. We love answering questions on air. We appreciate all of the support that we get. And, again, I just want to thank you, gentlemen, for giving me the opportunity to come on tonight and just spread the word. And you know what? Go Jets.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being on the show, CJ.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Alrighty, thanks guys for having me on. Have a good night.
You too.
All right, I know we're gonna have to put like the warning rating on like or the split rating on iTunes now.
Yeah.
It is a podcast. We can basically say whatever we want. But that was phenomenal. Honestly, that was probably the best thing that the Jet Take has ever had.
Yeah, like, I honestly think that was probably the greatest take that ever came onto the Jet Take.
Jet Take. That was the best Jet Take of all time.
Yeah, I agree. You know, that soundbite that I pretty much just played for him 500 times. Well, sometimes I didn't mean to, but
it was appropriate though. It was appropriate.
It was, but you know, he deserved it, and you know, he actually brought up a lot of great points, especially on the quarterbacks, and he even brought up some great points on Deshaun Watson. You know, I mean,
yeah, he tied everything perfectly. It was great.
Like I actually do agree with this kid on Deshaun Watson, and honestly,
it's a little too late for that, though.
You know, I can't really share my take on that, but you know, CJ basically proved the point, and you know, he also tried to get Jet fans pumped up for this year, and now I'm gaining my optimism back because of him. So thank you, CJ, for that.
Yeah, that was great. And right now we're in a Twitter beef with Joey Blewett of Jet Nation Radio. We'll see if we can get him to call in. But we do have a lot more callers on the line. Thank you guys so much as we're quickly approaching the second hour of the Jet Take. But nonetheless, we're going to bring on the always controversial, one of David's favorite callers, Justin. Justin, he nope, I can't say that. Crap. I almost made a joke about you, David. Justin, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. It's going to be really hard to follow up that call, so I hope you brought some fire tonight.
Yeah, CJ brought the fire tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he was like a primitive caveman who first discovered it, and he just ran with it. It was really good. So bring your best. How about that? That's the challenge for tonight. CJ has set the bar. David, quote this, because I know you're tweeting right now. Are you ready to quote this?
Go ahead.
CJ has set the bar, comma, if you think you can come and bring a fire take, call in now. Okay. There's the quote for tonight. All right, Justin, let's talk about some of the topics tonight. You've been on the line for a little bit, so I'm sure you heard all of his little rant, and, well, not little rant. That was a bad way to phrase that, but most of his speech to say sounded a little bit presidential. And then, you know, the callers we had before him. But let's talk about Christian Hackenberg first. I'm sure you saw the comments. I'm sure you heard the comments throughout the show. What are your thoughts on it? What is your Jet take? See what I did there?
Christian Hackenberg should be the starter on week one. That's my take. Because Bryce Petty, I mean, if Bryce Petty beats Hackenberg out, yeah, then he wins the job. Whoever wins it, I'm hoping Hackenberg comes ready. Anything close, it goes to Hackenberg. Petty has had his chance, but I'm willing to give Petty another chance because of the bad offensive line. Petty showed he was okay last year, but if Hackenberg's got to come ready to win this job, anything close, I think it's Hackenberg's job to lose.
Yep, I think I agree, but what are your thoughts on his comments this week saying that he has a lot more confidence coming into his second year and a better understanding coming into his second year than he did his rookie year?
I mean, to be honest, I don't really have any thoughts because that makes perfect sense. You should have more confidence year two. Year two, you got the playbook down, a year of the playbook. So, I mean, I don't really have any comments to that. I mean, that's pretty normal.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the wide receiver position. We've been talking about it. David and I both gave our projected, 1, 2, 3 rankings and how we would play them. And
I'm going to tell you right now, the Jets wide receiving core is not going to miss Brandon Marshall a bit this year.
Oh.
Whoa.
I strongly disagree with that. And I was in favor of letting him go. So explain yourself. I mean, you may come with another fire take here. Maybe he's about to unthrone CJ.
Was pretty much trash last year. The guy had 10 drops. That was one of his worst career
years last year for Brandon Marshall.
Do I have to remind you who was throwing him the ball?
This is the problem that I have, not letting Brandon go. I wanted to see Quincy take on that number one role. That's why I was in favor of getting rid of Decker, which I don't think Quincy's going to get as many opportunities now with Decker coming back. That's the problem I have with keeping Decker. But do I think Decker is going to be productive this year? Absolutely. But I wanted to see Quincy take more on that one role, which I don't know if that's going to happen now that Decker is coming back.
Well, here's my opinion on it. I think Quincy will be the number one. I think Decker will be the slot, and I think Robbie will be like the speedster. I guess you can call him a number two just based off how they're lined up. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I can definitely see that happening. I mean, I like the guy Stewart we just got. He's a stud. I think his catch run after catch is very good. I mean, what do you average, like 12 yards in college after the catch? Kind of like Quincy. You got to after the catch, he just makes things happen. It never hurts to have guys like that on the team.
Yeah, absolutely. David, your thoughts?
First of all, Justin, I wanna thank you for coming on the show, man. But obviously
there's a bunt. That's not good.
A bunt, Kyle. All right, but anyway, though, I'm actually gonna have to strongly disagree with you on Marshall. While many fans did want him to go, I honestly did not think one bad career year was honestly going to get him out of here, because
he went down in the boat with Fitzpatrick. I think Marshall was productive.
He went down the boat with Fitzpatrick. I mean, yes, he supported his quarterback, but you have to understand. I mean, he was probably the best depth we had at that number one receiver spot, and he still had some attributes that wanted Jeff Vance to desire him to stay. And if you even
didn't want to come back. At the end of the day, he didn't want to come back. So, he wasn't part of future plans.
That pretty much set the bar for Brandon Marshall.
Quincy was just as good as Brandon Marshall, if not Robbie was just as good as Brandon Marshall last year.
Okay, that's a little bold.
Since the censor is already off on this, I'm gonna call bullshit on that one.
Okay, that's
I'm calling bullshit. That was great timing, David. Let me tell you why that's just a bad take. One, Ryan Fitzpatrick was throwing him the ball for the majority of the year. Ryan Fitzpatrick. Not a good Ryan. It wasn't even just Ryan Fitzpatrick.
It was a quarterback tandem that was throwing the ball.
Not even a good Ryan Fitzpatrick. Not the best Ryan Fitzpatrick. The one that we got in 2015. We're talking the worst Ryan Fitzpatrick has ever been in his career. And Ryan Fitzpatrick is considered one of the worst quarterbacks of all time. Imagine one of the worst quarterbacks of all time being at his worst year. That was who Brandon Marshall was getting the ball thrown from.
Yeah, well, Robbie Anderson was getting the ball from the same guy, though.
No, he was not. Robbie Anderson didn't even do that well with Ryan Fitzpatrick on
second. How many snaps did Robbie Anderson play?
Well, Bryce
it was Bryce Petty.
Well, Bryce Petty was missing Robbie Anderson too, underthrowing him too. So let's not.
You want to know why? Because Bryce Petty wasn't smart enough to comprehend the playbook. So all they did was say, "Hey, Robbie Anderson, you're fast. Run a 9 route. We'll see if you catch it." No, he dropped 2 of them on Monday Night Football and then dropped.
Petty.
Oh God.
Yeah, but I mean, Marshall dropped more
Kyle makes
than
his
Robbie
return.
Anderson. Robbie Anderson had less drops than Brandon Marshall last year.
Brandon Marshall, I believe that is true, but Brandon Marshall has never been, he's always had drops. That's always been his thing. So people in Chicago didn't like him, but Brandon Marshall was still a good receiver last year. I mean, like we said, he was playing with Ryan.
He was all right. He was all right. But he wasn't as good as
you can't sit here and tell me
about how much you wanted him gone.
Yeah, you can't sit here and tell me right now that if Brandon Marshall didn't, if he even had half of what Ryan Fitzpatrick was in 2015, so average, completely average, he would have been a 1,000-yard receiver. You can't sit here and not tell me that.
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying.
Okay, so your point
lost next year. He's going to be very productive with the Giants.
There were a lot. He'll definitely be productive with the Giants.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's not going to be a loss for this team this year. Absolutely not.
Well, it's not a loss. I get his point, David. It's not a loss for the team because we're not getting anywhere this year. And I agree.
Not true. Can we please let the year play out before you people are assuming we're not going to do anything this year?
I remember what CJ said.
Because what did we lose this year? What did we lose? I'm going to ask you guys a question. What did we lose from last year?
What did we gain?
Healthy, hungrier guys that want to prove themselves.
Who are mostly in their first and second years in the NFL.
Ryan Fitzpatrick not being the quarterback. Guys that actually want to
tackle
guys. Unlike Darrelle Revis, make an effort to tackle guys. I mean, you guys are making out to seem like we're going to win 3 games this year. It's just we're not going to be worse than last year. It's not happening.
Well, we definitely have a significantly harder schedule for one.
No, we don't. We have
the 8th toughest schedule in the league.
Yeah.
Stop with the schedule nonsense. I heard we had a good hard schedule last year. We were in every game pretty much.
41 to 10, 41 to 3, 24 to 3, 31 13, 20
we were in
3.
any of those
games. Pittsburgh game, Seahawks game, Kansas City game for a little bit.
No, we were never in the Kansas City game.
Cincinnati
just because the score was in.
No,
just
we
because
were in
the score
all
was
within
14 points does not mean we were ever in the game. We were out of the game. We
could have been in the game.
Every single game. If you look at the games, we were in most of those games. The offense couldn't do jack.
Yeah, all right, let's go. All right, let's go over the schedule for this year. Let me pull that up real quick.
Week 1, Buffalo.
Yeah, that's a loss.
Week 2. No. Why do you think it's a loss? Buffalo's all that great now?
Well, Buffalo has a quarterback, for one, so.
Wide receivers.
I think we have better overall wide receivers.
The Jets have better receivers than Buffalo.
Yeah,
the Jets defense is going to have a better year than they did last year. So you think Muhammad Wilkerson and Sheldon are not going to have a better year than last year, which isn't saying much, is absolutely ridiculous.
I'd have to agree with that.
Let's go down the schedule. All right, Buffalo. We're in Buffalo, week 1. They're just a better team. They're just a better team.
No, it's not true. You don't think we can play with Buffalo now? You don't think
I think we can play with them, but I don't think we can beat them.
Why?
Not a chance.
They have a quarterback.
We definitely have.
That's it. That's
it.
That's what you need to win in this league. You can't win if you don't have a quarterback. Tyrod Taylor is their guy.
Who they have their throw to, though.
They had Tyrod Taylor last year. See how they did last year, right? They had Tyrod.
Sammy Watkins has been doing freaking injuries for the last couple of years. Who else?
He'll be healthy week 1.
Yeah, well, he was out all last year with the ankle injury. Well, not all last year, but that ankle has been bothering him.
All right,
who else you got, Kyle?
Buffalo. All right, Buffalo. All right, so you're saying 0-1. All right, next game, Oakland.
At Oakland. So we have to travel. So that's definitely a loss.
To the West Coast.
Yeah. Significantly better
Miami.
team.
I call that a blowout.
Miami. That's a loss.
A loss? Miami's that much good now?
They were in the playoffs last year.
So who do we play week 4? I believe it's
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville. I think we can win that.
Okay, so you're saying 1-3.
Yep.
After Jacksonville is
the Browns. At the Browns.
Browns.
That's shaky. That's shaky.
Shaky? We can't beat the Browns now?
The Browns are getting better. Well, the Browns have actually got a lot more depth.
We're not better. Wait. Are we better than the Browns?
I don't know.
You don't know? We're not better than the Browns?
I think they have the better quarterback.
Wait. Who's their quarterback?
I would presume it would be Cody
Kessler.
Kessler. Probably Cody Kessler.
Yeah, he was okay, but you think the rest of the Browns team is better than the Jets team? Did I hear this correctly?
Their offensive line is better. Their pass rush is...
The Browns are better than the Jets. All right, let's go position by position. Running back?
Isaiah Crowell and Duke Johnson. And did they draft anybody this year?
Running back. Receivers, they're not better. Tight ends? Who do they have tight ends?
They drafted David Njoku out of Miami. I know that.
Okay, yeah, tight ends.
They're better.
Receivers, they're not better. Cornerbacks, they're not better.
Oh. All right,
They got one good corner. They got one good corner.
I'm going to look up the Browns depth chart right now. All right, so wide receivers are Kenny Britt. Can you let me talk?
Stop that. Jets
Can you let me talk?
Are hands
Can you
down
let me
better
talk?
than those scrubs.
Can you let me talk? Thank you. All right. The wide receivers are Kenny Britt and Corey Coleman. Corey Coleman was on pace for 1,000 yards before he got hurt last year. He was not a bad receiver. So
not better than Quincy Number. No, sir.
I will say that the Jets probably have a better receiving core as of right now. The offensive line, I think they just have the better offensive line than us. I think I can break it down if you wanted me to, but I feel like that's a waste of time. Tight end, they're better than us. Quarterback, they're better than us. Running backs, we probably have the edge.
Even.
Sure, we'll say even. His defensive line, we probably have the better overall defensive line, but their pass rush
better defensive line, better linebackers.
Oh, that's not true. They have better linebackers than us.
We don't know what we have.
Jamie Collins.
Yeah.
Christian Kirksey, Demario Davis, and probably Jabril Peppers.
Demario Davis, stop that. You guys wanted to get rid of him. Now all of a sudden you guys like him? Everyone likes him, right?
I didn't say I liked him.
I
think he's better than what we currently have.
Stop that. He's not better than Jenkins. He's not better than Lee.
I think he is at this point.
He's better than Lee?
Yeah. Lee barely had like 80 tackles last year. Pretty sure Demario Davis had over 100.
Yeah, 1 year. You gotta.
Well, what else are we supposed to base it on?
Yeah, but you can't go by it. Demario Davis, he's with a wheel route. That can't cover anything.
Well, neither can Deron Lee, apparently. All right, corners, Joe Hayden and Jason McCourty. They're definitely better than us there. And then,
we don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
McCourty's old, man. McCourty is old.
McCourty is, I believe, 29. That's
getting
Corey
old.
still has it in him.
Yeah, he's still good. He is 29. Like I said, and Joe Hayden, I think he's either 29 or 30. So it's not like
Joe Hayden's good. I'll give you that. Joe Hayden.
Yeah.
He's probably top 5.
And then safeties. If we assume that the safeties that we have on the roster will play like they do,
Okay,
I think
why are we bringing down the Browns depth chart here?
Because he thinks that we're
podcast.
Yeah, well, and we're talking about when we play them. I just think they have the better team than us. We're in Cleveland. I think Hugh Jackson is a better offensive line.
The point being, the Browns have gained more depth. Okay, they have an immense amount of cap space, and they had an immense amount of cap space to gain more depth, and they actually used the draft to their advantage.
Yep.
And we didn't.
That doesn't. But however, Kyle, that doesn't mean we didn't do the same.
I don't think we're even close.
No one wanted to go to Cleveland.
We don't have a quarterback whatsoever. Cody Kessler.
No. We can't stop. We got to stop.
And the Browns
don't have a quarterback. We don't know
Cody
what
Kessler
we have.
is better.
We might have a quarterback if we give someone a chance instead of running out of town like you guys want to do with Hackford. Yeah, might.
Yeah.
But
here's the realistic scenario, though.
That realistic scenario is we don't know what we have. Just like we don't know what we have when Geno Smith left the roster. Say what you want about Geno. We don't know what he is. And we're going to try to make the same mistake with Hackford? No. It doesn't matter what you say about Geno. The answer is we don't know what he is.
A backup.
No, we don't know. We don't know. You can't tell me.
He is a backup. He is a backup quarterback.
No, he's not. You can't. No, you're not.
Is he going to start over Eli Manning?
No, of course not.
Well, then he's a backup. End of discussion. All right. So I have us currently at 1-4. Then we play the Patriots. That's a loss. 1-5. Then we play the Dolphins again. I don't think much will change. 1-6. Then we play the Falcons. That's 1-7. Bills again. 1-8 at the Buccaneers. That's 1-9.
No.
Then we have a bye week. Panthers, Chiefs,
wow.
Broncos. Guys, be realistic.
This is the king of
Can I hear your
pessimism right
final?
there.
Can I hear your final record prediction, please, for the New York Jets 2017 season?
Jaguars, that's a win. And seems about it. No,
So what are your final records for the 2017 season?
I don't even know if we'll beat the Jaguars, depending on what type of year Blake Bortles has. Actually, they've really improved on defense, and Blake Bortles, this is basically like his last year, I think, with the team. He's fighting for a job. He might come out and have a good year. And they have better receivers, a better running back core. They have a good offensive line and a better defense and a better coach. So,
what are your final roster predictions for 2017? You guys in the question.
Okay.
I'll say 2-14.
2-14.
2-14.
Show me a quarterback that we have, and I'll change it.
I think I just gagged in my mouth, to be honest. Because 2-14.
Well, you
So
should
you
probably
think
get it
we're
out of
gonna
your
have the
mouth.
worst record in the NFL?
That would be great, because then we have a chance at Josh Allen.
Josh Allen or Sam Darnold?
I would prefer Josh Allen.
A Jet fan that wants to go 2-14. See, this is why we never get anywhere.
I don't want to.
Why.
I'm just being realistic, looking at the roster.
Realistic is saying we'll win. We won't be good. We won't be a playoff team. But 2 wins, that is beyond ridiculous.
Tell me 2 teams that we beat on here.
Buffalo, the Dolphins, the Browns, Jacksonville, Tampa Bay.
So
I definitely think we could beat Buffalo.
Buffalo has a quarterback and probably just a better overall roster than us.
Quarterback. They're not that good. Buffalo is not that good.
Okay, I got it.
I feel like you're just never going to change your mind. And the Dolphins, they were a playoff team last year, and they've only improved. So
yeah, Buffalo has improved. Don't get me wrong, but they're still all not that great compared to the other teams.
Yeah, but we've and except to the safety position,
we have gotten better since last year. Our roster has gotten better talent.
And exception to the safety position, and maybe corner, if Morris Claiborne stays healthy, where have we gotten better?
We had the worst quarterback in the last 20 years in a single season. You people realize that?
And we've still made no progress at that position.
No progress,
I think that's what,
right?
Yeah, there's been absolutely no progress.
There hasn't been any progress on this roster. Is that what you're telling me?
Has Kristen Hackenberg ever taken an NFL snap?
No, but that doesn't mean
All right, that's where we're going to leave it. Thanks for coming on, Justin. David will shout you out. All right. I think we got to move on because we're running a little bit on time and we still got a bunch of callers waiting to go. Thank you to Justin for arguing for a solid 20 minutes there.
Oh,
David,
my God.
What are your thoughts on that? I mean, tell me 2 games that we win on that roster, with this roster and that schedule.
Kyle, I get what you're saying, but I'm sorry. A fan who thinks we're going to go 2-14, I get that we're trying to rebuild, but that's just beyond pessimism, Kyle. That's ridiculous.
I don't want us to go 2-14. Tell me 2 teams, there are 3 teams that we can beat on here.
I think we could beat Buffalo. I think we could beat Miami.
We'll say 1 Buffalo game. We'll say the Buffalo game on Thursday Night Football in MetLife. We'll say we get that win. All right, there's 1 win. Do you think we beat the Browns?
I think we could beat the Browns.
Okay, so there's another one. Do you think we beat the Jags?
Yes.
All right, so there's 3 wins. Tell me another one we got. We're not beating the Raiders. We're not beating the Patriots. We're not beating the Dolphins. We're not beating the Falcons. We're not beating the Buccaneers. I can tell you that. All of that for sure. Guarantee you that.
Well,
we're not beating the Saints. We're not the Broncos. It's in Denver.
Why not the Saints?
Drew Brees in New Orleans.
Okay.
He will carve us up.
And?
He will carve us up.
Okay, but what defense do they have? What defense do the Saints have?
They've actually gotten better on defense. I'll pull up their depth chart. Just look at the schedule, David, and tell me. I'll keep us in the top 10. Tell me 5 games that we win on that thing, just to keep us in the top 10.
Kyle, going 2-14 is ridiculous. You are just the king of pessimism right now, man. I mean, certain fans have us going 4-1 before the bye week. And to be honest, no.
What?
Look on Twitter. Look on Twitter. Some fans
Yeah, Twitter's
like
filled with a
4-1
bunch of
or 3
idiots,
before the
David.
bye.
That doesn't mean anything.
No. Why can't you be optimistic and agree with them? Like, who knows what this team could do? You honestly say that this team's going to go out there and play their asses off, and then they're going to go 2-14 for it.
Because we have no
quarterback. That would just prove that they're not rebuilding properly at all.
We don't have a quarterback. You can't be in a rebuild unless you have a quarterback, David. We don't have a quarterback. I don't care what Christian Hackenberg said.
You don't even know what these
quarterbacks
can do.
He's got to go out there. He's got to go out there and prove it. And I'm looking at these first 4 games, and if he goes out there and he's
he has to go out there and prove it,
and he gets crushed because Sean McDermott plays for him, and then he plays Oakland and he gets crushed again. His Spears are going to be down. Then we got to play the Dolphins, and then the Jaguars are a little bit of a let up. But here comes Blake Bortles, and here comes that defense. There is no room to breathe here. Christian Hackenberg has to come out and have a great year for us to get 7 wins.
Okay. Well, I did say you have to go prove yourself, but this is the point Justin's trying to make. You don't know what these young guys could do. You don't know what they could do.
I'm fairly confident Christian Hackenberg will do nothing.
Oh my God, Kyle.
I'm just my opinion. I didn't like him coming out of college. Didn't like him coming out of college. You know that for a fact. Never saw any hope in him whatsoever, and I will keep that way until he proves me wrong.
Kyle,
all right, we're going to go on to the next. We're going to go on to the next caller, and that is Alex. Alex, thank you so much for being on hold this long, man, and thanks for calling in. I know you want to talk about the wide receivers, and that's good because I'm done talking about the quarterbacks. First of all, how are you doing?
What's up, fellas? I'm doing great. Love the conversation tonight. Fell off my chair a couple times before, but I'm all right.
That's good. That's good. So I have to ask, what side are you on here?
I get your point. You know, the schedule does not look pretty. You know, we can basically look at the first 4 to 6 weeks, and we can kind of determine how things are going to be. But it's a long season. We don't know how injuries are going to play out. Everybody gets banked up. Teams change as you go throughout the season. So maybe some of those powerhouse teams will not be as strong as they were in September as they are in November and December. And, you know, who knows? Anything can happen on any given Sunday. So I totally get your point. It's going to be a rough road. You know, everyone just hold on tight because, you know, what we really want to see here is younger players show progress, get better, take their lumps. Guys are going to make mistakes. Even Jamal Adams and Marcus May, they're going to blow some coverages. They're also going to show some nice plays. So, you know, all in all, you know, I completely get your point, Kyle, because it is going to be a rough year, and playoffs are not something that, you know, we should definitely be striving for, but are just not realistic right now with this many questions at the QB position. So I completely understand what you're saying. 2-14 is definitely a harsh ball, and you know, I hope our Jets can do better than that. But I see your point.
Thank you. All right, let's talk about the wide receiver position. You have been, you know, teeing off on Twitter. I don't know exactly what side you're on, but Ardarius Stewart versus Chad Hansen, I believe, are missing. Can we say missing? Can we go with that one, David? Our missing host, Ben, tweeted it out. I think it was Ben. David, confirm?
What did Ben tweet precisely?
Well, was it you, first of all? It was like Ardarius Stewart and then like the greater than.
I'm pretty sure Ben tweeted that out.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. So Ben tweeted that out.
So he can't defend himself.
No. Ben can barely keep his spot on the show. So much less defend himself. But for right now, let me just state my opinion on this. I think right now they're both going to be special teams players. But I think in the long run, Chad Hansen could come out ahead on this one. But I don't know. I think that's just how the Jets decide to use him. I think Ardarius Stewart is a YAC guy, and I think Chad Hansen is one of those guys that can take you over the top and catch the ball. You know, I think he's a decent route runner. I think a lot of people are giving him crap because of the offense that Cal ran. You know, just because that's what they ran there. I don't think you can judge him based on that when he wasn't asked to run certain routes. You don't know if he's not great at it. So I feel like that's bullcrap. But David, your thoughts? Chad Hansen or Ardarius Stewart?
Well, I mean, I actually watched the film review on Hanson and Stewart, and like I said before on these guys, I said about Darius Stewart earlier. He's a great speedster coming out of a great school in Alabama. Great with yards after catch. It would actually be beneficial for end-around plays, which hopefully John Moore will use next year. Chad Hansen, however, he came out of Cal, and he's pretty much. I think he could actually be great in man-to-man coverage, but I can't see him going up against top number ones or number twos just yet. So I would definitely see Chad Hansen as a special teams player. However, as for Darius Stewart, he is a third-round pick. He came out of a good school. He definitely has some attributes on him that could actually get him into the offensive rotation. I mean, I'm not saying that it's definite, but,
it's
I
a
could
possibility.
see him. It's a possibility, yeah, and I could definitely see him as a possible four-string receiver.
All right, so there's our takes on it. Now give us yours, Alex.
All right. Well, for me, when I try to judge players like that, I do like to look at the stats and I like to see production, and not trying to say that Stewart is not a good receiver, because I do think he is going to be a good receiver and he has a different type of style than Hansen. I tend to like the style of Hansen because, what he can do is he can get physical. He can, get to where his route needs to be. He's very consistent with it. Though he may not be a great route runner, he may not be as crisp when he's breaking in and out of his cuts, but he gets to where he has to be, and he gets there on time normally. And it's mainly because he does so well when he comes off the line of scrimmage. He does struggle with big physical press corners, but if they whiff on him, he will beat you deep. And that's kind of what they did with Cal. They set up a lot of plays where they used him on 5-yard hitch routes. They would use him on slant routes. They would try to get the corner to come play press up on him so that they could utilize his long speed and go outside on the boundary and take the guy deep. So I saw a lot of systematic plays, like you mentioned, Kyle, in Cal. You can just see how a lot of things were telegraphed, and you can tell by the mechanics of Davis Webb and how he struggled on his intermediate accuracy, because he would just throw a ball into an area knowing that's where the receiver was supposed to be if he was feeling the pressure coming. And, Hansen showed an exceptional catch radius by pulling in 92 catches last year. He didn't all just do that, catching balls over 20 yards, running a straight 9 route, or running a hitch and go. He did do the short man stuff. He got his 5-yard hitches. He made, intermediate routes that went up into the seam. And, yes, he did do a lot of screen plays and, right off the line, quick hits. But, again, you're talking about the system that he was in, and that's kind of how they wanted his role to be. Doesn't mean that he's not capable of running other routes in the route tree. I completely believe that, what he did was good, and I think that with the right coaching and, our offensive coordinator, that's kind of his forte, is working with wide receivers, and we do have a great precision route runner in Eric Decker, so I kind of feel that, if he can be his protege and Eric will be his mentor, I think Chad Hansen can develop into a phenomenal wide receiver for this offense. And, I'll just say this about Ardarius. The school, the pedigree, the toughness, it's all going to be there, and his blocking ability in the run game is going to give him probably an edge to make, the rotation a little bit quicker maybe than Hansen. Hansen will really have to go out there and make a big play or do something in the red zone in order to keep himself in regular, long-distance situations. But, Ardarius is a running back in a wide receiver's body. You just want to get the ball to this guy as quickly as possible and let him create with his feet, because the guy is just electric once he finds space, and he's very hard to bring down once he gets to that second and third level. So, I think right now with the system that's being created, if you look at all the different types of, players that we brought in with this draft and the players that we have currently, John Morton is going to have a lot of fun using the style of wide receivers that we have. We have guys that can stretch the field. We have guys that can work in the intermediate. We have guys that can work in the screen game. We have guys that can do the run after the catch. And all of our running backs are probably better receivers than they are in between the tackles. So, hopefully our quarterback position or, the competition will be productive so that we can actually utilize all these new weapons that we've obtained in this draft.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Johnny Moe, as Quentin Patton likes to call him, will definitely be looking to involve those guys. Now, David, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, Alex, I actually do agree with you 100%. And I also think Darius Stewart, I can't say that he's liked, but you're right. He's a running back in a wide receiver's body, so I can't say you can compare him to Tyreek Hill, but he definitely has that attribute to just go off and be electric as he has the ball on a handoff play, whether if it's an end-around play or even a handoff where you use the wide receiver as a running back. But you were actually talking about special teams earlier on. That's actually something I actually also wanted to bring up, the special teams. I honestly think that these draft prospects we drafted in the 5th, 6th round could actually work for these special teams. What do you think, Alex?
I think that they did a really, really good job in the 5th round, starting with Donahue and those picks, because last year we had a lot of guys that were banged up, and we had players that we had to move from special teams to actually play starting roles. So a lot of people, were adjusting a lot last year. We were banged up on, both sides of the ball in all different areas. So I feel like we've cut some of the guys that were not, helping us in those categories. And when you look at Donahue, he's going to be a guy kind of like Lorenzo Molden when he first came on the scene. He's going to come running down the field, with his head on fire, and he's just looking to clean somebody's clock. And, that's good to have that type of intensity. And when you look at players like Elijah McGuire, Kyle, I liked your comparison the other day. He's going to be the next Leon Washington. I don't know if he's as shifty as him, but as far as a receiver goes, and I hear you. But I definitely can see him, being a good scat back. And, we're going to be down in a lot of these games, and we're going to be behind points. So we're going to have to modify our offense to have, more receivers on the field. And what better than to have, a young rookie to come in the second half when the other team is, a little winded, and then this guy can come in and be as a wide receiver. I mean, Elijah McGuire, he can punt return, he can kick return, and if you watch any film on the kid, he did a lot of plays where he motioned out into a flanker and into a slot position. He was utilized in screen games, and he ran different routes, that vertical routes as well. And he's got a really good set of hands. So I do feel that even though we waited a little too long for my liking to get a running back, I think that what was left on the table, they did get a good potential, future scat back. I could totally see him being like the next type of Bilal Powell, where he's a good change of pace. He could be a solid number 2. He has the experience to take the workload of a 20-carry game, but, he doesn't have the bell cow skills for me personally to be the number 1 running back, but I definitely think as a complementary back, he should be very, very good for this offense moving forward.
Yeah, I completely agree. And, as we touched on a little earlier, and as you said with guys like Dylan Donahue and Elijah McGuire, it looks like really from the 3rd round on, our Darius Stewart, Chad Hansen, Dylan Donahue, Elijah McGuire, Jeremy Clark, and then Deion Jones, is that his name? God, I hope Derek Jones. Derek Jones. God, I don't know why I said Deion Jones. I actually think that's another Ole Miss player. But all of them are going to come in. They're not going to be starters at their position. They're going to come in. They're going to have their role on special teams. And I really think that's what the Jets came into this draft thinking. They said, all right, let's address who we think will be the best player when we're picking and how they can help us overall. Now, a guy like Dalvin Cook, who we could have got in the 2nd round, or we could have at least made an effort to get him, he was going to help us in the running game. That's about it. Elijah McGuire, he can come in. He could be a change of pace back. He could be a special teamer. So I think the Jets are looking for depth in these drafts. I think they're really looking for a couple positions now and then depth. I think they're still looking for quarterback. They're probably still looking for number 1 wide receiver. And besides that, I think they're really looking for depth. So I think that's what the Jets went with. David, your thoughts?
Right on. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, Alex, you can go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Alex.
No, I just wanted to mention that, to touch on your Derek Jones situation, I saw an interview, and the one thing that he said that I really liked is they said, what is your goal, coming onto this team? How do you want to contribute? And he said, the first thing that I want to do is I want to be the best guy on special teams. So he knows that his way that he's going to have to work his way to being a Jet in a longer career is, he's got to start from the bottom up. And he's going to try to, be that gunner. He's going to be a guy that's going to play hard, and work his tail off on special teams. And, that's a really, really good start because this guy played wide receiver and cornerback. And if you can develop him into, possibly a zone, style corner, or, when they're running cover 3 schemes, you don't have to worry about the ball skills. He's already good enough to play wide receiver as is, and he anticipates routes like a receiver when he's playing defense. So if you can, get this guy to be a good zone read and react corner, there's a diamond in the rough with this kid Derek Jones, and I wouldn't sleep on him. I'm pulling for him. I like the whole situation that I've read about him and some of the things I've seen. So, I think, like you said, they really hit. Even though they don't look very flashy, I think they did very well on the back end of the draft.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you. And another lazy comparison for a draftee. I know I've made some comparisons to former Jets players. This one's going to be to a Jets coach. Dylan Donahue honestly reminds me completely of Kevin Green. Not a great athlete, a hard worker who's going to work his way onto the roster. His specialty on defense, to say, is pass rush, but in the early years he'll come on and be a special teamer. He's even got the hair going on. I mean, I feel like when Kevin Green saw this dude, when he was, I'm sure he went on at least some sort of scouting version for him, at least watched film. I don't know if he went to Western Georgia or West Georgia, whatever it is, but I feel like he definitely saw a lot of himself in there. Do you think that's fair to say?
Spin zone. No, I'm kidding. No, that's an interesting take.
It's starting to catch on. I like this.
Wow. Well,
yeah,
he was the first caller that Kyle when you introduced. So.
Oh, David, with the history lesson there. David, get a trivia question ready for later because I just completely forgot about that. Right, yeah, I know you love it. Where were we though? Spin zone. Continue with your take.
On Kevin Green and Donahue?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like what I've heard thus far. They're developing some chemistry with each other. He seems to be, clamping onto him, and I just think that, part of this movement that we've had, bringing in the right personnel, and one of the coaches that a lot of people can talk about is Coach Stump as well. I think that he's going to bring a lot, moving forward to this organization with the running game. And I think Kevin Green is going to bring an attitude and an intensity to our linebacking core and our defense as a whole. I really feel that we've been missing that, that guy that's going to come in there and, punch a guy in the chest and say, you ready to play some football today? And bring that energy out of people, that player-coach mentality. And Donahue seems to be a guy that plays with a lot of emotion and passion. So I'm looking forward to see, if he can develop. He's a little small. I think he's, like 250. But as far as, never give up, never die attitude, Donahue's, got the heart of Rudy Rudiger's, I think.
Absolutely. All right, Alex, you brought the heat tonight. You did phenomenal. I'm not going to say you beat CJ because CJ, that was we might have to give him the best. Yeah, we might have to give him the best Jet take of all time. See what I did there? Spin Zone, that was the whole point of the name, the Jet take. We've just never done that before, and I don't know why. I guess Ben was holding me back. I guess we'll blame it on Ben. That's the new hashtag. We're going with that, too. All right, Alex, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have another writing gig, and I believe it's for JetNation.com.
Yeah, the news is true. I'm going to be doing some stuff with JetNation.com pretty soon. Probably just doing some articles and, getting in depth a little bit further with this team. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm excited, and I really appreciate the opportunity. And I'll let you know right off the bat, it's not going to hinder our progress on drafting for 2018. I'm really looking forward to, getting into next season and starting to see what the next class can bring in store.
Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely going to be putting in some work over the summer when I definitely have more free time. I don't know about you, but I'll definitely be working on it over the summer. I was going to say, though, I was going to set up the fourth spin zone of the night, but I'll give it to you guys anyway. Spin zone. Alex hated me as, I guess you can call me the owner. I don't want to say boss because Alex was significantly better than me anyway. He hated me, so he went to Jet Nation Radio. He went with Joey Blewett.
Wow.
Damn, Joey Blewett. That's
fake news. Fake news.
Fake news. Oh, I love that. Perfect way to end it. All right, Alex. Thank you so much for coming on, man. We'll shout you out on Twitter.
All right, take it easy, fellas. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on. I would say we're just handing those things out like candy tonight, but the callers have really been great tonight.
Well, actually, before we bring on this call, I just wanted to say this about Alex.
No.
I just wanted to say this about Alex.
I thought you were going to talk about the next caller. Okay,
No.
Go ahead.
No, but Alex, I love his football knowledge. I honestly think that he's got great knowledge about the sport in general, and even about the league and college in general. Like he knows a lot more stuff than probably I've learned in my entire life. And he really I'm sorry.
New York education.
New York education, Kyle. New York education is better than Florida education. Do not talk. But anyway,
I don't think that's true.
Oh, debate that.
Florida is number one college education. I actually had this argument with Gary from ASC Pros 2 weeks ago. We're number one in college education. So that's what really matters. That means we're putting kids in debt, but they're well educated.
Okay, Kyle. But anyway, Alex does know a lot about not just the NFL, not just about college football, but pretty much just the sport in general. And honestly, the fact that he's been writing for you, and the fact that he got the gig for Jet Nation Radio, I just want to give him.
He's not writing for me. He's writing with me. I don't consider myself a boss.
But I just wanted to congratulate him for getting that gig. He deserves it, and his knowledge got him to that point. So, it doesn't sound achievable, but honestly, I think it does in my mind. And, I could see this guy really just continuing to just grow and grow. It's not really just a football knowledge analyst or football fan, but as a good friend of ours, he's a loyal caller, and I can tell he loves calling in and talking football with us.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to be honest. I know he's still on the line. I'm not just saying this to make him happy or anything. Alex knows what he's talking about. I think he could definitely get a job, somewhere, like an actual paying job as a writer, because he's fairly good at what he does. He's good at explaining himself and expressing his opinion without shouting, unlike us. It seems to be a big problem of ours. But we're going to go into our next caller, and I swear to God, David, Zach, you redeemed yourself last week. Can we make it 2 weeks in a row?
Oh, my God, no way.
Zach.
Anyway?
Zach, are you there?
That's the question. Yo, what's up, guys?
What's up, Zach?
What's
up? How you guys?
You have any people hiding in your closet or something?
I have no people hiding. I have not one person hiding in my closet at all.
You sure about that?
Yeah. I have family yelling, but they're going away now.
Kyle, trust them.
I'm joking, Zach. You proved yourself last week.
Don't worry.
Yeah, we identified your number in our system, so that's the ultimate sign of trust from the Jet Take. Thank you so much for staying on hold.
Of course. Love listening to you guys. That guy Alex seems like a great guy, knowing his stuff.
He definitely is, and I'm very happy to work with him. Definitely one of my favorite guys in the Jets community. Thank you so much for waiting on hold this whole time. You've been sent through a couple of really good callers. Hopefully, you can get close to CJ. It's a possibility, Zach. You gotta prove yourself. You gotta prove yourself.
I gotta prove myself. I'm trying to think of some kind of topics to bring up. You guys have any topic ideas?
Let's
we talked about a lot tonight.
Yeah, let's talk about the quarterback.
Oh, you want to go into quarterback situations?
Yeah.
Well, as of right now, our quarterback situation isn't that great, but people make it worse than it already is, in my opinion. Everyone's saying.
Oh no.
Everyone's saying.
David, did you say reach?
I said preach.
Christian
I agree with him.
Hackenberg is so awful. He is so awful. Oh my God, this, that. Maybe he's not good, but who really knows? You don't know about a quarterback or any player until they actually step onto the field, not get redshirted completely. That was last season. I guess I understood it. What else they were going to do? They came off a 10-6 season with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Bolstered or maybe, yes, like last week I made a mistake. I went too much Todd Bowles, but I don't know. But Fitzpatrick should have really been sat a lot earlier in the season. And then we're like, oh, Geno Smith, maybe he'll be our savior because he says he's so great, and he gets injured. But in my opinion, this season, as much as this might kill me to say, I really think they should have gave Geno another shot. They should have signed him to the same contract he signed with the Giants, because he should have tried to come back to the Jets because that was his only shot to start. I guess he went to the Giants. He's not starting at all. But with Hackenberg now and Petty struggled in the 4 games he played last season, and you can't really blame him. The team was terrible. It was awful. That Colt game on Monday Night Football, that was awful. And I think maybe you can't trust any of these quarterbacks right now, obviously, but I think you got to give Hackenberg a big shot this season to shine. McCown, I don't even want them to start him. McClown. He's 2-20. I know he's with the Browns. Anyone can say what they want, but he is 2-20 in his last 2 seasons with the Cleveland. Doesn't matter what team you're on. When you're 2-20 and you get $6 million for being okay, but you're not going to start. They cannot. I don't care unless there's injuries. He's a backup guy. There's no way. I don't want him starting at all. I want Hackenberg all the way and Petty to be his backup. And I think that McCown should be right behind Petty, and that's it. There should be no doubt in my mind Hackenberg should be starting this season. If the Jets don't give him a shot, it's just plain stupid. If they start McCown the first 4 games of the season, they're going to go 1-3. They're not. We obviously know they're not competing this season, but give Hackenberg a shot. I'd rather McCown start. I'd rather Hackenberg start and start off the season 0-4 than McCown start and start off the season 1-3. Unless Hackenberg's not playing terrible, he's just not winning games, then I'd rather keep Hackenberg going, and maybe we'll see. Maybe he is part of the future. Who knows?
Yeah, he's the tip of the iceberg, really, with his career right now, Christian Hackenberg.
I know.
We don't know where the season's going to go. I think this is really his ultimate chance to prove it. David, thoughts? Since this is your best buddy.
Yes.
Your BFF.
Yes, Zach is my best friend. Well, Zach's one of my good friends, and I love this kid.
David is one of my best friends.
No. Oh, no.
David is one of my best friends? Yeah.
Oh.
Kyle.
Oh, hold on. Zach,
Kyle.
This is what David. Oh, man.
Kyle.
Oh, man.
I failed at that?
Kyle.
I failed?
No, you didn't fail. David hit you. David hit you with the good friend. You just got good friend zoned.
Kyle.
You know what?
Kyle.
It's no problem. I got you.
Yeah,
Where's Ben today?
Stop acting like
Ben?
a 5-year-old. Okay?
You've never met Ben.
Oh.
Yeah, you really haven't. But Zach, I actually do gotta agree with you 100%. I would actually rather have Hackenberg come in and go 0-4 than McCown at 1-3, because we're having young talent out there, and
even if you're 1-3, there's no progress going on. At least if Hackenberg started, you see that at least you see what he was supposed to be foretold. If McCown comes off and goes 1-3, they're not gonna show. Maybe later in the season they'll put him in,
which is, I don't know what's going to happen. I think training camp's going to be a big thing to see, and even if, like I said before, they redshirted him. How do you know? I mean, you could see it through practice squads and stuff, but you really don't know until he steps on the field, until he's under that pressure. And even, I'm not going to go into baseball, but sometimes even when players in the minor leagues aren't good, they're okay. You bring up some majors, they're somehow great. That's how sometimes it is in football. They're in training camp or whatever, and they're not that great. They come under the lights, and they've had the pressure on, and they go with the pressure, and all of a sudden they're amazing, you know? And it's just how it is. And I think that could very well be the case with Hackenberg. And people have doubters. Tom Brady example. I don't want to get into a Tom Brady example, but he was a 6th-round pick, and the Patriots put him in back injuries.
Yes,
he was injured. He came in.
He learned behind Drew Bledsoe.
I know he learned behind a good quarterback, and then Belichick screwed that other quarterback for this guy, which I don't blame him for. Because Tom Brady, as much as I hate to say it, is the greatest quarterback of all time. As much as I would love to fight that Joe Montana is better, Tom Brady is the best quarterback of all time.
That's probably the case at this point.
It is, after seeing what happened last season, you know, and then the Super Bowl, and David was on. Oh, did you know that David during the Super Bowl last year was on the floor? He almost died. He almost killed himself. He was dead. Yo, he was on the floor. He was getting ready to cry. He didn't cry, but he was getting ready to cry. That's how bad it was. I was flipping out too. Don't get me wrong. I was flipping out, but I knew it was going to happen.
Zach,
You just made the list.
No. What did I tell you about WWE references?
hey, you made the
But
list.
I knew it was going to happen.
Not your best friend list.
I knew it. David, relax. We're joking with you. I'm not pissed. I don't care.
I know. Keep going, Zach.
It's hard.
You're gonna get jumped
Jets
tomorrow,
fans have hard life. We have a very hard life. We only cheer for the only thing we cheer for in the playoffs ever since maybe 2010. After 2010, all those seasons, those the AFC Championship heartbreak season. Besides those, all we do is see root for the Patriots to lose. That's the only thing that happens.
I actually don't hate Tom Brady. Just want to put that out.
I hate Tom Brady. Do you hate the Patriots?
I hate the Giants more.
Woo! You hate the Giants more. How?
Oh, that's good timing, David. I'll let that one play. I'll let that play. That's good timing, David.
Yeah, seriously.
Ready? I'm going to sing, David, since you're going to just put it out there.
What do you mean? I hate the Patriots.
When you're not there yet, but you want to say no. What do you mean?
Exactly.
What do you
That's
mean?
the example. But Jay Cutler, who signed Jay Cutler now, why? Here's my question: why is Jay Cutler going into broadcasting now? Why does Fox want him? Why? I don't understand. He's gonna be like the interception analyst or something. Like
Oh, that's good.
Really does not give a shit about football at all.
Oh,
Sorry for my vulgar.
No, you're good. It's okay. CJ already did that.
Yeah.
All right, my bad. So I don't understand why he's there. And they talking about the Jets signing him was like, oh, great. And it was this whole free agency flunder throughout the quarterback situation. And then McCowan gets offered whatever. He got $45 million 3 years. And then big, terrible show for the Bears. Anyway.
Was that English?
What?
I don't know. Was it?
Oh, God.
I'm not sure.
This show is just unreal.
All right, David, bring up a topic now. I want to get into it.
Yeah, David,
all right.
Bring up a topic.
All right, fine. I actually want to get Zach's take on the wide receiver core: Eric Decker, Quincy Nunwell, Robbie Anderson, and the young talent that we have: Darius Stewart and Chad Hansen. Zach, what are your receiver predictions?
Did we talk about this last week? How I said that Eric Decker is not a number one wide receiver at all?
Did you talk about a Darius Stewart and Chad Hansen?
they could come up. They could be good, but they're just rookies right now, right? So we're just looking at them. We're looking more towards. I'm looking more towards the top receiving core. They could be big factors this season. You never know. Good hands, and we could see what happens because we have Robbie Anderson, who had a good year last season, because it was all covered on Brandon Marshall. This year it's going to be all coverage on Eric Decker, so that's why they're going to get these new rookie guys. They're going to be able to get open. Then Eric Decker is not. He's not going to get open. He's really not. I don't see him getting open.
Really?
Oh.
I don't see him getting open. I think they're going to be all over him like they were all over Brandon Marshall. I mean, it's maybe still different. Brandon Marshall's bigger, but they're going to be all over him like they were all over Brandon Marshall last season. So the Jets are going to have to throw other options like Chad Hansen and Quincy Enunwa, and Robbie Anderson, the other guy I forgot his name, but the other guy they got from the draft. But if they, I don't know. That's why I was thinking maybe they just should release Eric Decker. He's coming off this injury. You don't know if he's going to be the same.
No.
I know, David, you hate to hear this because I know you love Eric Decker.
Baby, what is he doing?
That's a good question. What are you saying? Why should Eric Decker have gotten released?
Why?
Why?
Tell me why.
I think with his injury factoring in, I'm not saying Eric Decker is going to be bad. I might just be completely wrong. I'm just saying he's going to be covered completely. I'm just saying I don't think there's a point in the way the Jets are right now. They're not good record. Why not just leave it all to get Decker out, get all the. I mean, maybe you do need some veterans in there like Decker, but just leave it all to the new guys. Quincy Enunwa's not new, but leave it. And Robbie Anderson was there last year, but leave it all to the new rookies. Leave it up to Robbie Anderson. Leave it up to Quincy Enunwa. Why even keep Eric Decker?
Because they want Eric. I think they want Eric Decker to actually just prove himself one more time. Not to mention the fact that he would provide great leadership, and he would actually be a great threat to the number 2 and the slot spot. And he's a red zone. He's a red zone and third down threat. What? Yeah, why not? Why not? I think Enunwa's earned it. Zach, do you not remember plays he made? Do you not remember when we went to the Jetpack game and he made that sick touchdown grab over Malcolm Butler?
No, I'm not saying that Quincy Enunwa's bad. He's great. He's good. He's gonna turn out right now. He had a good season last year, and I know that Pats game you're telling me about. Yeah, and he does come up sometimes in the clutch with Brandon Marshall by his side, and that receiving core last year coming into last season. Everyone thought, oh, God, the Jets are going to have a sick receiving core. If Fitzpatrick pays like he did last year, the Jets are going to replace the Broncos in the playoffs. The Broncos were in the playoffs here before. That's what they were talking about. They're going to come in, and they're going to be great with their guys. And look what happened. Fitzpatrick went off the roof with these interceptions.
Fitzpatrick was terrible.
And Marshall, Decker went down for the season, and when Decker went down, that just brought a hope out. You're like, oh, because when that happened, it was all Brandon Marshall. But now he doesn't have his Brandon Marshall by his side. Yes, he has Quincy Enunwa by his side, and maybe they'll cover Decker. Enunwa will get open, and then they'll cover Enunwa and Decker will get open. But I just don't think Decker's going to be the same player that he was after this injury. But I'm not hating on Decker. I'm just saying I don't think he's going to be as great. I like Eric Decker. He's a good player, but I don't know. And when they signed him to that 6-year contract a couple years ago, I was happy. But
spin zone.
Jets need to find that receiving core again in the next couple. Maybe these new rookies coming up will be good, but they need in the next few seasons. Maybe they'll find the quarterback of the future this season after. And maybe Decker turns out not to be, like I said, going to be not that great. They're going to release him. They're still going to need to find, if they get that quarterback of the future, you need some weapons right there. And if these rookies show that they could step up this year and Robbie Anderson could repeat maybe a little bit and Quincy Enunwa keep doing the things he's doing and we get the quarterback Sam from the draft.
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold. I prefer Josh Allen though.
That guy too. I like Sam Darnold though, but you never know. If they can go out get him or find their quarterback of the future, which we've been trying to do since Joe Namath, but who knows? If we can do this and the rookies start coming out and showing greatness, and we can still have a winning team in the next season with Sam Darnold, we have a good receiving core, because I think it's very, very important to have a good receiving core, because you can have a good, sometimes, of course, the quarterback's the number one position in football, because that's number one. You need a quarterback. But the Houston Texans, they had a quarterback, they would have won the Super Bowl last season, no doubt. They didn't have Brock Osweiler, but look at Aaron Rodgers. He is top of his game. What happened a couple years ago when Jordy Nelson went down? It was still great.
They made the playoffs and they were good.
They were good, yes, but no Super Bowl caliber, right? If they would have had Jordy Nelson that season, remember that was against the Cardinals, I think, that year, and that was that crazy game with the Hail Marys. If David texted me to look at Sophia's live stream, but if by the way, so David gets mad girls.
Nope. All right, we're gonna end it at that. All right, Zach, thanks for coming on.
All right, peace.
He just lied right to us, David. Come on.
What? What?
What don't you get?
No, I missed half of that last part.
Yeah,
but,
because you were watching Sophia's wide stream.
What? Zach. Okay, I'm gonna have to talk to Zach about that later.
Yeah,
but
we get it. You're a pervert. All right, we're gonna go into the last call of the
Kyle,
night.
you look like more of a pervert than me, so don't talk.
David, I'm pretty sure I saw you on an episode of How to Catch a Predator. So we're gonna go into our next caller.
Yeah, bet.
Of the night, and that is Akeem. Akeem, thank you so much for waiting so long. How you doing, man?
Hey guys, I'm doing well. Really enjoying your show. There's definitely been some really low points, but definitely some high points, and I've been laughing and having a good time. How you guys doing?
I'm doing well. David has some shocking things revealed about him tonight, but I'm doing well.
Like what?
Oh man, you guys are too funny. Oh man, David, it was hilarious when you were saying, "Oh hey Zach, yeah, Zach's my best," and then you stopped and you're like, "Oh well, Zach's one of my good friends." And then Kyle called you out for it. And it was hilarious.
I'm sorry, buddy. I love you, kid. Don't take it the wrong way.
No, I know you guys are all just having good fun. But man, listen, I'm actually a little bit upset that we're even. Oh, don't worry, Dave. I'm gonna make up for it. Give me one chance. And what I was gonna say is, I can't even believe that I can't even believe that we were comparing our depth charts with the Browns. Like, you can tell it's been a sad day for a Jet fan if we have to hear about us, really getting in depth to see if we're gonna beat the Browns or not. And I'm not saying the Browns aren't improving or anything, but obviously, that's the bottom dwellers of the league, and I guess, we're amongst them now, so it's just a sad, sad day to be a Jet fan.
It's a sad 16 years of my life.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely been sad, my time as well, but hey, here's the thing, guys. We can't just come out with this negativity for next season. Listen, football's not played on paper. I've heard a lot of fortune tellers come on your show saying, 1-3 with McCown versus 0-4 with Hack, I'd be happier. Like, we don't know what's going to happen. We need to just focus one game at a time, all right? And truly, if it is an open competition, McCown's going to win because he's got 16, 17-plus years of experience at the quarterback position. And that quarterback position takes the longest, to mature. So prospects, when they come in, it takes them at least 3, 4, 5 years, even sometimes 10 years for journeyman quarterback to become even relevant in this league. This league is that tough. But, hey, man, this is a game of inches, and it's any given Sunday, so don't ever count us out. And I don't think we're going to make the playoffs or anything, but I think we can pull out 5-6 games. I don't know if it'll happen. That's yet to be determined, but we'll see what happens.
David, thoughts?
Yeah, Hakeem, I want to thank you for coming on the show. And your thoughts about Josh McCown. You're actually right. The quarterback position does take a long time to develop properly, but I don't think Josh McCown has developed that properly, especially where his career has been headed. He's been jumping around the league. He's had a history of injuries, and he hasn't played on good teams with a lot of depth. Now, however, what are your takes on the wide receivers? We never got your take on the projected number 1, 2s, and 3s, and even on the young guys like Darius Stewart and Chad Hansen.
Yeah, I mean, our wide receiver core is going to be really competitive. I like it. You know, I think we're going to keep Eric Decker because you still want a veteran and reliable player, you know, to teach the younger guys how to prepare, how to watch film, how to take care of their bodies. And Decker can definitely provide that. And he's a good locker room guy, so I don't see him, you know, causing any problems. I just see him leading young men. So I would keep him as my, you know, number 1 reliable just because he's our veteran. And then, you know, I would try to get Quincy Enunwa as much time as like an H-back or tight end just to get him more. But truly, obviously, he's our number 2 option. And then I like Robbie Anderson as my number 3, you know, go-to guy. And from there on, it's going to be a really competitive group, and I want to see who stands out. Will it be Sharon Peak? Will it be Chad Hansen? Will it be Darius Stewart? And, you know, when you compare Darius Stewart to Chad Hansen, I just think they're 2 different types of receivers, but they complement each other really well. You know, Hansen is the quiet guy that's going to go up in the air, try to beat you deep, and come down with some nice plays, whereas Darius Stewart is going to, you know, be the creative types of plays where he's going to get end arounds and, you know, get quick hitches and screens. And you know, and he's going to be the type of wide receiver that is going to hurt the defensive back. You know what I mean? So he's going to lay a hit on the defensive back as he's trying to get more yards. And we need some players like that. You know what I mean? But I think we have a good receiving core. Obviously, that's 5 receivers right there, and actually 6 if you're including Sharon Peak and our 2 rookies. And the reason why I said maybe Quincy should go to H-back or even tight end potentially in Johnny Moe's offense is because then it'll allow us to keep another receiver on board, and that could be Quentin Patton, who they signed, you know, during free agency. So, and I know he's Johnny Moe's guy. Yeah, actually, I love that interview that you got from him, and now I call Johnny Moore and Johnny Moe because of Quentin Patton.
Yeah.
And that's you guys broke that, and I think people are sleeping on Patton. And I kind of want him to see him stay on board with us, and I want to see us carry 7 receivers if we include Enunwa. But I only want to carry 2 tight ends, and that's ASJ and Jordan Leggett. But we'll see what happens, you know. What do you guys think about my take there with the wide receivers?
David, I'll let you go first, because I'm nice. David's dead.
David's on Sophia's
webcam. His computer did the crash thing. It's showing that his little microphone. When his microphone's in gray, that means his computer crashed. So I didn't realize that sooner. Sorry about that. He'll be back on in a second. Yeah, I guess it is unfair to kind of compare them a little bit, but I think it also is fair to create content for the show. So at the end of the day, that's what we're doing. We'll stretch anything to the imagination. But you did touch on the tight ends a little bit, and I want to get your take on that. It's a new topic. We haven't discussed it tonight. ASJ, as I should say. I always say that. I don't know why. Suspended for 2 games. Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So we would assume that Jordan Leggett gets a nod for weeks 1 and 2.
I mean, I would also think that Quincy Enunwa would take a lot of those snaps as well.
That's a possibility. That's definitely a possibility, though I don't know if, well, I guess Johnny Moe does like using those physical, good athletes type of tight ends, like Jimmy Graham. I mean, Quincy Enunwa checks a couple boxes there. So it's definitely a possibility. But let's just stick with the guys who are officially listed as tight ends for now.
Okay.
Jordan Leggett, ASJ. When ASJ comes back for English, Kyle, please. Suspension. Who do you think will be the starter?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. I think it'll be Jordan Leggett, and I'm hoping that's the case. I mean, Safarian Jenkins is a big target, but I like the way Jordan Leggett gets after it, especially after the catch. And I know, like, Leggett was going to struggle as a blocker, like most young tight ends do. But, I'm okay with that. In third down, going down the seam, who do I want? Jenkins or Leggett? I would want Leggett. And, just another opportunity for a young man to shine. But, hey, when ASJ comes back, and if he's producing too, let's get even more creative. Let's run some double tight end sets. But I think that's where the depth chart will end with the tight end. I don't think we'll keep any other ones like Bowman. I mean, I don't think he deserves a roster spot over Patton, in my opinion, just in terms of looking at weapons. You know what I mean? But we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm excited for the season. So, I mean, don't give up on us, Kyle. I know we might do bad, but we're going to surprise some teams, and we're definitely capable of squeaking out a couple of victories. So please don't sleep on us, buddy.
I'm snoozing, currently, going to be honest. And I even talked about how we have so many weapons on offense earlier and how the secondary's improved and how I expect Muhammad Wilkerson and Sheldon Richardson to be better. But still, at the end of the day, we do not have a quarterback.
Well, yeah, we currently do not, but a quarterback can emerge this season, and that's what we hopefully will see. And I'm not saying it's going to be Hack. I'm not even saying, it could be Petty. But if one of those young players just improves a little bit, which I think is just natural in a growth for, young quarterbacks, and I'm hoping Hackenberg can come in and, play solid ball, only have to throw the ball, 22 to 25 times a game max, because our running game is going well, and our defense is getting stops. And, so, I mean, we'll have to see. I'm going to take it game by game, and right now my focus is Week 1 Buffalo.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to focus. All right, Hakeem, any other topics you want to talk about tonight?
Oh, man. I just think the, Jets overall, we had a good draft, added a lot of good energy to our team. I think that, the Marcus May pick is getting more criticism than maybe it should. He's still a talented player. The thing is, people are picking at all his weaknesses. Obviously, this kid's got a lot of work to do to become a true interchangeable safety, but he's got a lot of good traits that will tell us that if he can probably do it. And he's got to improve his deep safety skills. Definitely, finishing tackles, and, just kind of not going for the, double fakes and the double moves. But I think what Jet fans are doing is we're watching Jamal Adams tape and seeing how amazing he is, and he can basically do everything, like day one. I'm so excited for him. And then we go and watch Marcus May's tape, and we're like, okay, he doesn't do this as well. Well, yeah, he's a second-rounder, guys. He's not a top 6 pick like Jamal Adams or a top 2 player like Jamal Adams was, heralded to be. So, cut him a break. He's going to have more growing pains than Jamal Adams, but I think overall he's going to complement him really well, and it's going to give us 2 great people that we can count on moving forward to, solidify our back end. So I would just, end with that. And listen, man, like any other Jet fan, I feel like my Jet takes are the best. So if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at Hakeem Amir. And, I feel like every Jet fan would feel the same way, that, whatever they're thinking at that moment, that's what the Jets need to do. And, but it's always great chatting with you guys. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for extending the show for me, too. And, yeah, and I want to give a huge compliment to Alex. He works really hard. I love his stuff. Definitely going to promote him and support him. So I'm excited for you guys to continue to draft him and see what he does, on Jet Nation Radio with Joe. But yeah, thanks again, Kyle. I'll continue to listen to your show. Can't wait to hear what happens when Ben gets back and how he messes with the chemistry going forward. But, yeah, it's going to be awesome, man. Thank you again.
Hey, man, thanks for being on. All right. And that was, once again, our good friend Hakeem. We didn't get his social media. We'll have to tweet that out later. David, can you hear me?
Oh, my God. I have to apologize to Hakeem that I couldn't speak to him that much. But, well, either way, I'm sorry, Hakeem. And, I just kind of, I can't say I dozed off, but I focused off a little bit. And, I guess, I was
looking at your Snapchat, David, promoting your YouTube videos.
I had a YouTube video actually uploading the entire time, and I actually want to go promote that quickly. Before we do the trivia question, so this past Monday night, I was back at WWE Monday Night Raw at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey.
City.
Injure City, also known as The Rock. I just posted it on YouTube. Go check it out. The link is on Twitter.
It's a vlog.
Yeah, it's another vlog. I also actually provided my post-draft takes in the video, so I apologize to those of you Gangrene David fans who haven't seen any posts in a while. I've been having issues with my camera. I've been trying to fix it. I don't know why it hasn't been working, but I will be starting to post again, starting from that video and going there on forward. So check that out, and hope you enjoy it. And now I'm even trying to go for WWE audiences there. But anyway, I have my trivia question ready for tonight.
All right, I'm ready.
So this is going to be another easy trivia question.
Oh, okay.
Because this is very, very recent.
So you know I'm not cheating?
Kyle, I know you're not cheating. I can't see your I'm not showing on my camera. But anyway, this is an easy question tonight. I'm going to go easy tonight. When did Robbie Anderson catch his first pass, and how many yards was it?
God damn it.
And this is partial credit, so I'm grading it like an exam.
Well, trust me, I know a thing or two about exams. Everybody, actually, before I answer, send up a prayer for me, because I got exams this week. So,
yeah.
All right. It wasn't week 1. Wasn't week 2. Wasn't week 3. I'm gonna say Seattle, because I think he burned Richard Sherman for, I don't know, 23 yards. Seattle, 23 yards. Probably both.
Wrong. 0 points.
Oh.
It was against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, really?
It was actually a play where he turned around and caught the ball for a 26-yard gain.
Oh, I mean, I was only a week and 3 yards.
You were close with the yards, but...
Yeah, I was a week and 3 yards off, so...
Yeah, all right.
Ben's not here, so it doesn't count anyway. I gave it the old Kyle try. All right, David, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up the show. Anything else you want to say before we exit?
Well, first of all, I just wanted to say thank you to all the callers tonight who called in tonight, especially CJ, who actually probably brought the greatest jet take of all time.
All time.
Actually, yeah,
Ben
all time. Ben did miss it. But Ben did miss it. I agree. But thank you to all the callers tonight for calling in. A lot of you guys brought some great takes tonight. Some takes could have had some additional.
They could have been better.
They could have been better. Agreed. But thank you to all the callers. It was great co-hosting for the last couple of weeks. But Ben will be back next week, and the jet take will return to its normal state practically.
Yeah, and David, I just want to say you've done. Well, we're not necessarily. You'll definitely be back co-hosting at some point. But Ben is expected to come back from his, little. Oh, I'm running over my charger. Dang it. That's unfortunate. Ben will be coming back. Yeah, I know we're still live. That's the great thing about this podcast. We're 100%. Ben will be coming back next week. That is planned. The show will either be Thursday or Friday, depending. But David, I just want to say you've done a phenomenal job. Your first episode co-hosting, I'm going to be honest, you were terrible. It wasn't very good. But you are so much better now. You know how to carry topics. You know how to You know how to bring up new topics. You know how to introduce callers. You're much better now. I just want to say good job. And also, not only is he co-hosting, he's also tweeting out stuff 24/7, shouting people out. Like right now, I'm looking at the analytics on the Jet Take Twitter page, and right now we have over 2,700 impressions on Twitter over the past 2.5 hours because of David tweeting. So this is the man that makes the magic behind the scenes. He uploads, he edits, he promotes, he tweets everybody out. He really does the legwork behind the Jet Take. So, David, until the next time you co-host, thank you a lot, man.
Thank you very much. Go Jets.
Yeah. All right. So once again, we'll just do some shameless promoting, as Joe likes to put it. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at the Jet Take. Just search the Jet Take. All your favorite podcatchers, iTunes, iHeartRadio, anything that you can get your hands on. Find us on mobile. Find us on PC, laptops, tablets, whatever you listen on. Whenever you can find a pair of headphones, earbuds, whatever. Just give the Jet Take a listen. We really appreciate it. Thank you guys. Thank you for all the support 24/7. It really means a lot to us. From myself, David, and Ben. Ben will be back next week, as I said. We're going to leave you guys with the best chant in the NFL. And until next time, go Jets.